Today we're going to test Kodak's new Kodacolor, talk about what's new, what Kodak's up to, and share some recommendations how to get the most out of this film.
Whoa, look at the new box.
From the very beginning, Kodak has a history of making photography accessible. In 1888, the Kodak camera was introduced. It was priced at $25, which is about $852 today, and came preloaded with a 100 exposure roll of film that produced circular photographs. When the roll was finished, the camera was returned to Kodak. For $10, the company would process the film, mount the images, reload the camera with fresh film, and send everything back. It was as easy as you press the button, we do the rest. This camera was so successful, the Eastman Dry Plate and Film Company actually changed their name to the Eastman Kodak Company after the camera. In 1942, Kodak introduced Kodacolor, the first widely available color negative film, although it wasn't released in 35mm until 1958. It was 25 ISO, and along with a color print process, made color photography accessible.
Today we're going to be testing some Kodacolor 100 and 200 on a pair of Nikon F100s, each with the 50mm f1.8 lens.
We'll photograph a handful of models along with a color chart for a general sense of how these films handle different skin tones and colors. Then we'll head outside for a few natural light setups.
For lighting, we're using a single Kodaks 8200 with a softbox. We'll be metering for highlights with our meter near the subject's face for a base exposure.
Based on that reading, we'll bracket from 2 stops under to 3 stops over in 1 stop increments using f-stops. One, 2, 3, F16, 11, 8, and then last one, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
In 1975, an engineer at Kodak invented the first handheld digital camera called the Kodak prototype. This camera had a 100 by 100 pixel sensor and saved images to cassette tapes. When they saw it, Kodak executives said, "That's cute, but don't tell anyone about it."
One, 2, 3, 2, 3. Perfect.
Slept.
Whoa. 1, 2, 3. Because it's an overcast day, our shutter speeds are a little slow. Something to keep in mind if you're shooting a 100 speed ISO film.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
When film sales began to fall in 2001, Kodak invested heavily in Kodak EasyShare cameras targeted to consumers. In 2005, Kodak was the largest manufacturer of digital cameras in the world. However, due to a competitive marketplace, profits from digital cameras were low, and at times, cameras were sold at a loss. By 2010, Kodak slipped to 7th place in the digital camera market. There's a common misconception that Kodak didn't invest in digital. They simply lost to competitors with better performing, more affordable alternatives. With film sales declining and digital profits failing to make up the difference, Kodak found itself in a difficult financial pickle.
Send us your film. We've got fair prices, top-notch quality, and an experienced team that cares. We process color negative, E6, and black and white film in every format from 110 all the way up to 8x10. No matter what you shoot, we've got you covered. Link in the description and leave a comment if you have any questions.
In January 2012, Kodak filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In the bankruptcy, Kodak faced a $2.8 billion liability to the UK Kodak Pension Plan, or KPP, pensions owed to workers at Kodak's Harlow, England film plant. To settle the claim, Kodak sold trademarks and the distribution rights for Kodak branded stills film to the KPP for $325 million, which balanced the books. A new company named Kodacolor was formed under the private ownership of the KPP. Under this relationship, which is still alive today, Kodak Eastman manufactures the film and sells it to Kodacolor, who sells it to consumers. Eastman Kodak continued to sell motion picture film to productions for movies and TV. As of October 1st, 2025, Eastman Kodak has re-entered the direct-to-consumer film market with, you guessed it, Kodacolor 100 and 200. We don't have a source we can quote on why they can or why they have decided to make this change now. But it's interesting, and we think the change is good because when you buy a box of film with this logo on it, more of your dollars are going to the people who are making your film. And hopefully, just maybe, we'll see some new color film.
Turn my brightness up. Let's do the Kodacolor 100. And I see pictures of myself. Oh my gosh. Seeing these bracketed examples, I would just rate it at box. I think a 1 stop over seems to getting a little hot on the highlights, like on my forehead right here. Color still looks decent though. And then looking at Esther and pictures of Taylor, like Noel's skin tones as well. So pictures of Taylor, his skin tones are looking a little kind of off, a little green. Let's look at the Kodacolor 100 on the Noritsu now. I actually think I prefer how the skin tones look on the Noritsu. I would love to take this. I guess we do have a roll of just kind of like real world photos. So let's actually look at those. I mean, hell yeah, I think these look great. Kind of running into the same issue of like overexposing by a couple stops can really wash out the colors and make it not seem as vibrant. At least these portraits of Esther outside look really nice. And Nick too. If you showed this to me, like I would think that was 645. Like with how sharp it is and like this, like the separation that you're getting, this looks so good. Yeah, I think Kodacolor 100 on the Frontier real world shooting just out on the streets looks really freaking good. But let's see the Noritsu now. I think I prefer Kodacolor 100 like real world outdoor shooting on the Frontier over the Noritsu. But indoor shooting in a studio session, I think I prefer the Noritsu for that. That's interesting. Kodacolor 100. Definitely need to be picking this up more. Okay, and then let's go to Kodacolor 200. Yeah, these look great. Esther looks great. Nick looks great. I'm pleasantly surprised by both of these film stocks. For the results that you're getting, these film stocks really pack a punch. I mean, both film stocks share a similar color palette. We're not seeing high saturation or heavy contrast, and the color looks like a classic Kodak film stock, which is great because Kodak doesn't make anything bad. But when we start to overexpose like 2 or 3 stops over, the tones and colors get just a little flat, especially in the highlights. This doesn't seem to have the latitude of Kodak's professional films like Portrait, but you know, that's to be expected, you know? And then based on the rolls we shot, we would recommend rating these at box speed or overexposing by a stop. We probably wouldn't recommend overexposing by more than that unless you're looking for a flatter look. As always, nothing beats doing your own test, shoot in various lighting conditions, and bracket a few frames. It's just the best way to see how the stock responds to your specific style. Since the release of Kodacolor 100 and 200, there has been massive speculation that these are the same emulsions as the Pro Image and Color Plus films available through Kodacolor. So we did a little comparison to see what we could find. To rule out as many variables as we could, we shot our color charts with the exact same lighting and a single lens. We developed the rolls side by side in shared chemistry and DSLR scanned them to avoid any autocorrection from lab scanners. We're using Negative Lab Pro for our inversion and then applying that inversion to our paired frames. The result? We did see a slight color difference in the film base between film stocks. The Color Plus negative photographed a little more red compared to Kodacolor 200. And the Kodacolor 100 was a little more red than the Pro Image. However, once we matched the white balance, the story changed. Color for color, the hue, saturation, contrast, and grain looked extremely similar between stocks. In a blind test, we doubt anyone could tell them apart. We think it's safe to say, if you like Color Plus and Pro Image, you're going to like Kodacolor 100 and 200. Also, we haven't been able to find official datasheets from Eastman for any of their new releases. Kodak, if you're watching, release the files.
I think Kodacolor 100 and 200 is a good neutral film stock. I did like it outdoors rather than indoors, but that could just be the lighting.
Got that classic Kodak look, tends to lean a little warmer on the tones, which everyone loves. That portrait of me on the outdoor roll is my new profile picture.
I shot this film stock in Cuba. Overall, they were great out of camera. I didn't really have to do much of the color correction. I say give it a shot at least once. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you don't. But overall, it's a solid film stock.
We've currently got Kodacolor 100 and 200 in stock here at the Fine Lab. Try a roll for yourself. There's links in the description. Happy shooting.
Can we talk some shit on Esther? I feel like Esther doesn't get it enough.